Welcome back to Let's Play Manhunt. It's finally time to return to the surface now that we've made it to our subway stop.
Is it 14 ounces in a pound? No, wait. That's 16, isn't it?
Picked up some handy debris, which we'll need because the cops have, of course, headed us off at the pass.
Suspect is believed to be in the area. Approach with extreme caution. He is armed and is considered to be highly dangerous.
We lucked out, and the guy guarding the exit was faced the wrong way. This buys us a moment to scope out the area, see if we can deal with the other roaming officer quite so easily. He's wandered off behind one of these trucks.
I love a good hobo hunt.
There he is. Making his way around the long side of this truck, very slowly. He's out of sight.
I think I got something over here.
I thought he'd found the body, but he happened to have overheard us. Which is lucky. He's on much lower alert.
Not a drunken bum hobo motherfucker to be seen.
Were he aware of his partner's fate, there's no way we'd be able to get our hands on him right now. And that renders the area safe for us. Let's see what we're working with before we move on.
Please say that isn't him.
There's definitely guards in the hallway before us. They're the stationary sort.
Hey, let's get some people over here!
We can get the attention of one of them, but not both.
Fuck! That's it! I am out of here!
We were out of handy executables, unfortunately. So we had to go down the old-fashioned way. That guy's going to remain stationary. Doesn't mean I can jump out in front of him, but lesson learned.
Okay, guys.
So they're done for. Only following his orders. Can't help but imagine who could have written that. Inside the vans, there's some health pickups. We don't have a crowbar at the moment, though.
So there are 2 points.
The train station we found ourselves in is a nice shadowy area. The multiple levels means either we're going to be performing ambushes or being the victim of them. It's all about preparedness.
Rolling CCPD.
Now, hold up as he was, there wasn't too much we could do about that officer. He was nice enough to undo all the damage he did in death. We can continue exploring onto even lower levels. Someone off on the other path. This one is forked, which we can take advantage of. Down our way, we've got an old classic. Baseball bat, perhaps the most used weapon in the game. Gonna have to do something special to make this one a souvenir. And indeed, I'm pretty eager to bloody it.
You're on borrowed time, punk.
Oh, that was unfortunate. My impatience has cost me dearly. Oh, and there's the horrifying popcorn popper noise we have grown to fear.
You are surrounded by SWAT officers! Come out with your hands when we can see them!
We made a passable escape from a very, very dire situation. we're in no position to strike at the moment.
Check to your left a little. I think I saw something.
Okay, I've got your number, asshole. Hey, guys, get over here. He's a stone-cold killer.
Luckily, they found our first victim. So while they're gawking at that corpse, let's check out the area they inhabit, so that when they return to it, we can take full advantage of it. Can't quite sound lure them to speed anything up.
Come on out.
So all we can do is explore. This is the area the police officer tends to patrol. Got some bullets in the basement, but we can't quite get them. We need the associated gun to pick them up. So this path is actually fraught with areas to launch an attack from. Very convenient. And they're finally ready to return to their original positions.
Whole thing stinks. No one's telling us jack shit.
SWAT officer's wandering off into his own area, which I didn't even realize was there, hence my mistake earlier. Seems like the cop's coming right for us. But he actually split down the other fork. As long as he's not too observant as he was last time, we can finally take him out. Ah, skull fragments bouncing off walls are perhaps the perfect fireworks show to celebrate that long-awaited victory.
At least these extra hours are paying off the SUV.
I've been spotted by the SWAT officer again. I should really know better by this point. But it's alright, it looks like we made a clean escape for the time being.
Area clear.
He's not going to let us loop around to get him, though. He's got sort of an OCD compulsion to return to his starting point. But he's not behind us now, so we got a chance to pick up another old favorite. Cash is equipped as he was in his heyday. I intend to take full advantage of this.
Almost saved up enough for that boat. Then the force can kiss my ass goodbye.
Oh, so it sounds like this officer is about 2 days away from retirement.
Should get me some of them crack pills them flyboys used in the Gulf.
Ironic. Looks like he was carrying those crack pills, though. Healed us up nicely. We got his gun. We can wander off and pick up those bullets. I hate to say it, but we will be absolutely needing those. Not just yet, though. We will get to use our crowbar one last time. To break open that gate.
Who's that?
I'm certain I heard something.
Oh, well.
Just pretend it was another thunderclap, sir.
We should hobo
Those two.
for now. Nip this problem.
And we gotta break up the band again. Now as we move out into the train yard, we hit a checkpoint, which is nice. But we find that the tracks are all sound making. If we walk on those, we can't stalk anybody. Got a clean shot. But there's so many police officers wandering around. It's dangerous to attack anybody, much less go for executions.
If that's you, punk, you better get ready for some justice.
Shadow is strewn around generously, but the moment you step out, you tend to get spotted.
He must be here somewhere.
Even still, I am eager to take the risk. Go for the kill. We got it, but we might pay dearly. The nice thing about the train yard is that a lot of the trains are open. You can wander in and find yourself some goodies. Sometimes you can get yourself cornered, though.
Damn, he's fast. Too fast. Shit. So damn dark. Can hardly see anything back there.
If you only manage to kill one person through an execution and then get spotted, you've got about half a dozen more to deal with.
Come on out. I got some method
What are you
for you.
scared of? We're here to protect you.
But I'm going for another one. Fuck it. Oh, and there's a mistake I'm surprised I haven't made much more often. I tend to get a little impatient, go for the execution just before the reticle appears, and swing right behind the guy, alerting him to my presence. It's a frequently fatal mistake. Not quite this time, but looking at the radar, I think we're pretty close.
Where'd he go? Which way did he go?
Looks like that's the next part of the train yard, the entrance to which is highly guarded.
Boy, you want your pills?
There's still a lot of danger here in our own part of the train yard.
Poke around.
There ain't any escaping cars or city, asshole.
Okay, he's not quite aware of us.
Damn hobos. Create twice the trouble, 3 times the paperwork.
Well, he got away. Has no idea how close he came to dying. Now, these guys aren't moving an inch, but if we hit that propane tank, it'll kill them both. I was outside of maximum range for the Uzi. And there's debris in the way that has a weird hitbox. I almost never hit that thing. So the correct thing to do is avoid everybody, which is very frustrating, but you can dodge around this back area. This is the only obstacle. Peg in with a quick bullet, and move off into the shadows. Everyone will congregate around the area you fired on. Then you can take a very bold move into the next area. A few of them drop painkillers, including this one. They're quite necessary to survive. Ah, and what do we have here? Looks like we're going to want to climb that once the area's clear. Or I can jump the gun again. Oh, we ultimately made it. It's considerably safer up here than down below. We still got to lose them. Which again is made easier by being on higher ground. That said, they can still spot us while we're up here, so no unnecessary risks. And this train leads to the next train yard, which has SWAT officers. One less now. But here come more to investigate.
I think he doubled back.
Quite a crowd of them.
Didn't have time to soften my new boots.
We're gonna have to move in on them eventually.
Bad.
Now we've been spotted by the cops from the previous train yard.
This thing comes to a peaceful end than you are.
We're in a tough spot. If we move forward, we get hacked up, and if we move back, we get shotgunned. There was no good way to win there. So let's try it again from the checkpoint. Take it a little more carefully. Clear out the ground floor from safety.
Beat the punk down!
Hold it!
Raining shotgun shells on the enemies is often very effective. But sometimes the Uzi is preferable for its slightly increased range. Now, if we intentionally fail this jump here, we can unlock an entirely different way to approach the next area. Certainly like to try that out. And while we're down here, explore a little more. Find more submachine gun bullets. We're in a much better position to move on than we were last time. Now our train yard is completely cleared out. So the upper level is absolutely safe for us. Still, we've seen that they can kill us very quickly in the next area. So we are going to want to approach this very cautiously.
Almost saved up enough of that bolt. Then the Force can kiss my ass goodbye.
So long as we make no major mistakes, though. And not too many officers wander into safety. That one sure didn't. It's the first time we've been able to snipe moving targets with any efficacy, which I enjoy greatly. It's much better than the previous sniping sections, in my opinion. You can get spotted here, and you can even get shot. If you do that while you're sniping, you can pretty much die before you even realize it. That guy's just blind firing, but it's enough to scare me off the edge.
Fugitive hasn't made anything.
Just let them keep wandering around in their pig pen, picking them off where they give us the opportunity. Can't be too many more left. There's one that hasn't left that crevice right in front of us where he's safe from our sniper shots, so we're gonna have to charge him.
Pull the fast.
Let's celebrate with a really badass mid-air reload. You earned it, Cash. Definitely not going to take any risks. Any stragglers that were left behind could still kill us instantly. Not going to allow that. That was the most enjoyable sniper sequence of the game, in my opinion. And it was completely optional. We are going to need to ditch our Uzi. Just for a moment, once we find a new crowbar. Which is very conveniently placed. And we're free.
Freeze, punk! Just give me an excuse to waste you!
Dispatch! Dispatch! We've got the bastard! Put your fucking hands up! Shoot that cop killer son of a bitch! Fuck is this?
Well, that freedom didn't last long. Looks like the corrupt Carcer City police force had no interest in complying with Starkweather's demands to bring in Cash alive, but that has been removed as an option for them. That shot at the end of the cutscene is very interesting to me. It appeared to be taken from the headset that Cash had been wearing the entire game. The one that Starkweather used to pipe in information. The fact that the head of Starkweather's own personal army had no idea what it was makes me wonder just how much anyone realizes Starkweather is playing them against each other. I'd even have to wonder if Ramirez knew we had that kind of advantage. As for the scene itself, this is something of a least favorite of mine. It kills the momentum the game had been building since Kill the Rabbit, where Cash had officially been written out by Starkweather. I also find the entire train yard sequence very frustrating because I'd like to perform executions in there, but it's simply way too crowded. It always felt to me like they were trying to challenge me to perform executions, with all the visual cover and the items to collect. However, they're ultimately just preventing them and forcing gunplay, which they tend to do for the second half of these later stages anyway. To try and make the best of it, I allowed myself to die a few times to see if I could come up with a strategy that I actually enjoyed. And that's where I discovered the sniper rifle, which I had no idea was previously there before this recording. That's why the time ended up being so high. I died a bunch of times and cut those out. And ultimately I was able to have some fun with it, but all in all, it's a bit of a bland scene that serves mainly to set up for the ultimate confrontation, which you can imagine we are heading to very shortly. A few videos ago, we saw evidence tying Manhunt to the Grand Theft Auto universe in the form of a radio clip in Grand Theft Auto 3. And because both Grand Theft Auto 3 and Vice City were developed before Manhunt, they contain no further allusion to the game. However, San Andreas, which came out 1 year after Manhunt, is loaded with references, some of them very enlightening. So before we move on, I'd like to quickly run down what those entail. For starters, we have not so much a reference as much as lessons learned by Rockstar in their Manhunt development, some tricks that CJ picked up. If he equips the knife and attacks from stealth, he can perform the level 1 execution. It's the only execution he has available to him. However, he can still kill people James Earl Cash style by locking onto their heads when he gets close enough. As for actual references though, there's a site rather notorious for its missions called Zero's RC. Inside we can find all sorts of models to be built, mostly trains and vehicles of various sorts. However, near the counter, you can find this little standee where you can order Manhunt figurines. There's the creature we saw escaping from its bonds at the beginning of the video. And on the other side, James Earl Cash himself. I wouldn't mind having one of those. You can find the same thing behind the counter. There's also Vice City figurines. Now, if you make your way over to pretty much any bar in the game, I went with the crowbar due to my personal preference. You can find paintings all over the walls. Among them, rather familiar figure, member of Starkweather's personal army. Sort of implies that these guys are a known entity in the area. And given that Starkweather currently takes up residence in this coastal region, perhaps he's already taken to terrorizing the citizenry over here before moving to Carcer. Up next, if we make our way over to the police department in Las Venturas, we can head inside, where they do not appreciate us carrying anything. But at great personal risk, you can wander inside. We can find any of a number of these bulletin boards. On them is posted a variety of images, most of them completely unintelligible, but over in the corner is something very important. The lower image is of a Hood gang member,
And just above him is James Earl Cash himself, along with an article that most likely entails the details of his criminal activity. The texture itself is just scribbles that we'll never be able to read, though. It is interesting to note that Cash is apparently wanted on the West Coast, when Carcer City is believed to be an East Coast region. This would imply that Cash is either a criminal in the San Andreas area at the moment, which is 11 years before Manhunt occurs, or that he was wanted in some sort of nationwide FBI search, which would imply a much greater crime. Unfortunately, because the details are so muddled in that image, we'll never know for sure. The final interesting reference to Manhunt in San Andreas is located within the planning department, which is only accessible during a specific mission. However, I was able to find the image we needed. It is that of Starkweather's estate, the blueprint thereof. Images pasted elsewhere in the vicinity of this one show Carcer City Church as the building site, which shows that Starkweather is already planning to move to Carcer City as of 1992. We'll be seeing just why he had to make that cross-country move as we enter the estate in the upcoming scenes.